What if the chicken you trusted to feed your family wasn't just unhealthy, but dangerous? Across the United States, nearly 5 million pounds of frozen chicken have been pulled off shelves in the past months, some contaminated with metal, wood, or even plastic shards. These aren't isolated accidents, they're red flags waving from America's biggest food corporations. The same brands that preach farm fresh are quietly recalling products linked to industrial malfunctions, unsafe labor conditions, and regulatory blind spots. How did ready-to-eat become ready-to-harm? And if these recalls reach this scale, what about the meals that haven't been caught yet? This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. In today's investigation, we're exposing 6 major chicken brands that together have recalled nearly 5 million pounds of frozen products. Don't panic yet. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which brands to avoid and which safer options you can still rely on. Number 1. Hormel Foods. It's one thing when a small factory makes a mistake, but when a corporate behemoth like Hormel Foods recalls nearly 4,874,815 pounds of chicken, that's not a blip on the radar. That's a siren wailing across America's dinner tables. On October 25th, 2025, Hormel announced a nationwide recall of its fire-braised, ready-to-eat frozen chicken after investigators from the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service, FSIS, discovered metal fragments likely shed from a broken conveyor belt at the company's P223 facility. The recall was categorized as Class 1, meaning there's a reasonable probability the food could cause serious injury or death. Just let that sink in. The very meal labeled ready to eat might have been ready to slice your throat from the inside. What's more disturbing is who the real victims are. These products never made it to supermarket freezers. They were quietly distributed to restaurants, hotel chains, and even school cafeterias. So while you were sipping your morning coffee thinking the world's gone crazy, your child could have been chewing on a fragment of industrial metal hidden beneath a coating of fire-braised flavor. It's the kind of invisible threat that doesn't scream, it hums quietly until it's too late. Hormel insists there have been no confirmed injuries, but it's hard not to picture an entire nation unknowingly playing roulette with every bite. And here's the twist. This isn't some isolated scandal. Hormel's name has long been whispered in conversations about corporate shortcuts and deception. Their natural labeling has faced lawsuits for being anything but natural. Workers in their processing plants have endured relentless speed and unsafe conditions, especially under the USDA's controversial HIMPI program that lets companies inspect their own products with minimal oversight. It's like letting a fox guard the hen house, except this fox is wearing a suit, holding a clipboard, and cashing a bonus check. Reports from the USDA's own Office of Inspector General have warned for years that the HIMP system allows contamination risks to slip through unnoticed. But when billions of dollars are at stake, warnings are just background noise. Add to that a recent federal class action lawsuit accusing Hormel and several poultry giants of manipulating prices by deliberately limiting production, and you start to see a pattern that smells worse than spoiled chicken. They claim to feed America. What they're really feeding is Wall Street. The truth is, this recall isn't about one broken machine, it's about a broken system. A system where corporations move faster than regulators, where profits outrun ethics, and where consumers are left holding the bag, or in this case, the contaminated chicken. For the millions of working-class Americans stretching every dollar at the grocery store, this feels like another betrayal in a long line of quiet ones. You don't expect luxury, you just expect not to be poisoned. If you still find yourself reaching for those frozen, ready-to-eat bags out of habit, maybe it's time to switch lanes. Brands like Bell & Evans, Mary's Free-Range Chicken, Simple Truth Organic, Good & Gather Organic, Nature's Rancher, and Trader Joe's Just Chicken offer cleaner sourcing, clearer labeling, and fewer corporate games. In times like these, choosing safer food isn't just being picky, it's an act of quiet rebellion. Because while big food giants treat the dinner table like a chessboard, the rest of us are just trying to eat without getting checkmated. Number 2, Perdue. If you thought a frozen bag of chicken from Perdue was your shortcut to an easy dinner, think again, because that bag might just be hiding more than breaded nuggets. On August 16, 2024, Perdue Foods announced the recall of approximately 167,171 pounds of ready-to-eat frozen chicken products, including nuggets and tenders, produced on March 23, 2024, and set to expire on March 23, 2025. The reason? Tiny fragments of metal wire found mixed within the meat. According to the USDA, these fragments likely came from worn-out wire components in factory equipment, a detail that makes you wonder how many fraying machines are still grinding away, unseen in those industrial kitchens. It's like discovering your chicken dinner came with a surprise toy, except this one can slice through your throat instead of sparking joy. The recalled products weren't obscure knockoffs either. They were some of Perdue's most recognizable offerings. Perdue Simply Smart Organic Gluten, free breaded chicken breast nuggets, Perdue breaded chicken breast tenders, and Butcher Box Organic Free Fully Frozen Cooked Breast Chicken Nuggets. The company insists no injuries have been reported, but that reassurance rings hollow. You can't unsee the image of metallic shavings hiding beneath golden breading like glitter at a crime scene. For a household brand to allow this, it's not just a slip-up. It's a wake-up call that your trust may be the weakest link in their entire supply chain. But this recall is only the tip of Perdue's rotting iceberg. Just months later, in January 2025, the U.S. Department of Labor fined Perdue after uncovering evidence of child labor at its Acomic, Virginia processing plant. Investigators revealed that minors, some as young as 15, had been operating electric knives and bone-cutting equipment, performing dangerous tasks banned for children under federal law. Perdue agreed to pay $4 million in compensation, but no dollar sign can undo the image of kids working graveyard shifts, elbows deep in poultry guts, while executives sleep soundly on silk sheets. It's the kind of scandal that makes even the toughest working-class American whisper, "What kind of country are we becoming?" And that's not the end of it. Perdue has also been sued for deceptive advertising, slapping labels like "raised humanely" and "all natural" on their packaging, while investigative groups, including the Humane Society of the United States, documented cramped living conditions and aggressive growth hormones used on their poultry. Raised humanely, they said, but those chickens probably spent their short lives packed tighter than a subway at rush hour. It's a slogan that feels like a bad joke told at a funeral. So, before you grab that familiar blue and white bag next time, remember this. What looks clean and crisp in a freezer aisle might be backed by rusting machinery, underpaid workers, and boardroom smiles too polished to be real. Check the label especially for codes like P33944 and verify whether your package has been recalled. Because the danger isn't just in the chicken you eat, it's in the blind trust that lets corporations get away with feeding you risk disguised as convenience. Instead, take your power back literally with your fork. Choose cleaner, more transparent brands like Wayne Sanderson Farms, Mountaire Farms, Kirkwood Chicken, or Cooper Farms, which haven't yet joined the Hall of Shame for contamination or labor scandals. Look for USDA approved or similar international certifications, smaller batch packaging, and clear lot tracking. Because at this point, trusting Perdue feels like leaving your wallet in the hen house and hoping the fox isn't hungry. Number 3, Foster Farms. Picture this. You're setting up for a small get-together, tossing a few chicken corn dogs into the oven, humming along to some old country tune, feeling perfectly safe in your kitchen until you bite down and realize your chicken on a stick comes with an unexpected side of splinters. That's not a bad dream. That's exactly what happened when Foster Farms, one of America's biggest poultry producers, recalled approximately 3,843,040 pounds of its chicken corn dogs in early October 2025. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service, FSIS, confirmed that pieces of wood were found embedded in the breaded coating, a discovery that instantly turned comfort food into a dental hazard. When your dinner feels like it's chewing back, that's not supper anymore. That's sabotage by stick. The affected products were produced between July 30th, 2024 and August 4th, 2025, and distributed nationwide, including to military facilities operated by the U.S. Department of Defense. The plant code stamped on the packaging read P6137B. FSIS classified this as a classroom recall, meaning a high health risk with the potential for serious injury or death. Foster Farms admitted that it had received multiple consumer complaints, with at least 5 confirmed injuries from people who unknowingly gnawed on bits of wood while eating what was supposed to be a fun snack. Imagine buying a corn dog and ending up with a toothpick collection in your mouth, but the wooden surprise is just one chapter in a long, messy history. Foster Farms has been on the radar of food safety officials for years. Back in 2013, a multi-state outbreak of Salmonella Heidelberg linked to its chicken products sickened at least 278 people across California, Oregon, and Washington. Some patients were hospitalized for weeks, battling infections so severe that doctors compared the strain's resistance to antibiotics as borderline terrifying. And yet Foster Farms continued production with minimal structural changes. A decade later, they're still making headlines for all the wrong reasons, this time swapping bacteria for lumber. Then came 2020, when the company's Livingston, California plant became the epicenter of one of the deadliest COVID-19 outbreaks in the U.S. food industry. Over 300 workers tested positive, and 7 lost their lives. Whistleblowers described factory floors so cramped that breathing felt like a gamble. Instead of slowing production to protect employees, Foster Farms pushed harder to meet demand, proving once again that in corporate America, the only thing less protected than the chickens are the humans handling them. For a brand that has built its image on family values and farm-fresh promises, Foster Farms' record looks more like a cautionary tale than a comfort. You might think you're just buying a bag of easy snacks, but behind that cheerful yellow packaging lurks a legacy of contamination, corporate denial, and preventable suffering. So it's time to read between the lines and the lot codes. If you see P6-137B on any corn dog style product, it's safer to skip it altogether. Always check for certifications like USDA organic, no antibiotics ever, and non-GMO verified, and buy only from distributors with transparent supply chains. If you're ready to trade splinters for peace of mind, safer alternatives include Hometown Poultry, Bell & Evans Natural Chicken, Coleman Natural Foods, Applegate Farms, and Plainville Farms Poultry. These brands have yet to be caught up in large-scale contamination scandals and are known for clearer sourcing and ethical production standards. Because the next time you open your freezer, that bag of innocent corn dogs might be grinning back at you like a practical joke gone too far, and no one wants to find out mid-bite that the punchline is made of wood. Number 4, Tyson Foods. For decades, Tyson Foods has strutted across America's supermarkets like a feathered giant, selling the illusion of wholesome family dinners and clean convenience. But by the end of September 2025, that illusion cracked wide open like an overcooked drumstick. Through its subsidiary Hillshire Brands, Tyson announced a recall so massive it made headlines coast to coast. Nearly 58 million pounds of frozen corn dogs and sausage-on-a-stick products were pulled from shelves after fragments of wood were discovered embedded in the batter. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service, FSIS, confirmed that 5 people had already been injured, each one a reminder that what you thought was comfort food could instead be a splintered threat wrapped in breading. The products were made between March 17 and September 26, 2025, at the company's Haltom City, Texas facility, marked EST 582 or P894. In simpler terms, that cheerful corn dog in your freezer might be carrying a wooden surprise no one ordered. But this wasn't Tyson's first rodeo in the land of recalls. The company's record reads like a grim timeline of repeated disasters. In 2023, Tyson recalled around 30,000 pounds of its Fun Nuggets after metal pieces were found inside a situation so alarming that the USDA classified it as Class 1, meaning there was a genuine risk of serious injury or death. Before that came other scandals: rubber fragments in 2019, plastic shreds in 2020, and the infamous 8.5 million pound recall in 2021 due to Listeria monocytogenes contamination. It's as if every few years Tyson redefines what extra ingredients can mean, and none of them are appetizing. For a company feeding millions, it's not a coincidence, it's a pattern. When industrial food production moves faster than its conscience, disaster isn't a possibility, it's a guarantee. The story darkens even further when you look beyond the packaging. Tyson has a history riddled with moral and legal stains, labor exploitation, environmental pollution, and antitrust accusations. In 2003, the corporation pleaded guilty to 20 felony violations of the Clean Water Act after dumping untreated waste into American rivers. Over the years, Tyson has faced lawsuits for hiring undocumented workers, paying poverty-level wages, and colluding with competitors to inflate meat prices. Imagine trusting a company that boasts about nourishing America while poisoning its own water and underpaying the hands that feed it. Tyson's marketing teams talk about farm-raised values, but their boardrooms sound more like Wall Street with feathers. For those considering American poultry, putting faith in Tyson is like shaking hands with a butcher whose knife is still dripping. The danger doesn't end at the border. These recalls show how one malfunctioning machine in Texas can send tainted food halfway around the world. Always check the label, the plant code, and the expiration date. If you see EST 582 or P894, do yourself a favor. Throw it away, because the next crunch you hear might not be breading. It might be your trust snapping in half. Instead of continuing to bankroll corporate carelessness, there are safer choices that haven't yet joined Tyson's Hall of Shame. Coleman Natural Foods, Mountaire Farms, Wayne Sanderson Farms, and Casey's Free-Range Poultry. These companies maintain clearer supply chains and have so far avoided the endless loop of contamination, lawsuits, and worker abuse. When corporations treat ethics like seasoning, added only when convenient, the burden of safety falls squarely on consumers. So next time you see Tyson's familiar red logo in your freezer aisle, ask yourself, are you buying dinner, or are you buying the illusion of safety that vanished long ago? Number 5. Pilgrim's Pride Corporation. You probably once believed that every golden patty or crispy nugget from Pilgrim's Pride Corporation symbolized trust, the classic American poultry you could feed your family without a second thought. But that belief, much like the company's public image, has started to rust like the hull of a forgotten ship. On February 19, 2025, the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service, FSIS, confirmed that Pilgrim's Pride recalled around 101,310 pounds of its ready-to-eat breaded chicken patties due to contamination with foreign materials, specifically small pieces of rubber found in the product. Just imagine that. You're taking a bite of what should be chicken and end up chewing on what feels like an old tire dinner turned into industrial waste. And this isn't a one-time blunder. In previous years, the company had already recalled over 4.5 million pounds of chicken products, including nuggets, patties, and popcorn-style chicken, after discovering bits of wood, plastic, and metal lodged in the packaging. Even though official reports of injuries were unconfirmed, the sheer volume of contaminated product alone paints a grim picture, like buying a bag of cookies and finding a paperclip baked inside. Yet these recalls are just the tip of the iceberg, because Pilgrim's Pride has a corporate rap sheet that would make Wall Street blush. On May 9, 2024, a federal court in Oklahoma approved a massive class action lawsuit involving more than 24,350 American poultry farmers. Their claim? That Pilgrim's Pride violated antitrust laws dating back to 2008 by colluding with competitors to suppress farmer wages and manipulate labor markets to keep costs low. Just a few months later, on August 28, 2024, Pilgrim's agreed to pay $100 million to settle accusations that it had conspired with rival companies to underpay contract farmers. In another blow, the company also paid $41.5 million to settle a shareholder lawsuit alleging it deceived investors by concealing its role in a long-running chicken price-fixing scheme. If you've ever wondered who really runs the big chicken cartel, Pilgrim's Pride might just be sitting at the head of that table, and every dollar you spend on their products might be feeding the very system that keeps farmers struggling. But the moral rot doesn't stop there. Investigative reports have revealed that Pilgrim's has faced repeated accusations of labor exploitation, dangerous factory conditions, and intimidation of workers who attempt to unionize. Human rights advocates have likened its labor practices to industrial feudalism, where the company reaps enormous profits while the workers breaking down carcasses earn barely enough to survive. And while its advertisements depict rolling green pastures and smiling farmers, The reality is much closer to a smoky boardroom where men in suits decide how to squeeze a few more cents out of every bird, every worker, and every consumer. There's still room for safer choices, though. For anyone looking to avoid the ethical minefield that is Pilgrim's Pride, consider alternatives that haven't been dragged into nationwide recalls or antitrust scandals. Brands such as Casey's Free-Range Poultry, Wayne Sanderson Farms, Mountaire Farms, Applegate Farms, and Plainville Farms Poultry have so far maintained cleaner reputations and more transparent supply chains. None of them are perfect, but choosing them means one less chance of biting into rubber, metal, or deceit. Because when your dinner plate becomes a symbol of corruption, maybe it's time to rethink what farm fresh really means. Number 6. Banquet. You probably think that a box of Banquet frozen chicken is the perfect shortcut to dinner, the kind of microwave magic you can trust the same way you trust a cup of instant noodles at 2 in the morning. But this quick fix recently turned into a ticking plastic bomb waiting to explode in your mouth. On September 2nd, 2023, Conagra Brands, the parent company behind Banquet, officially recalled around 245,366 pounds of its Banquet chicken strips meal, 8.9 ounces per package, after reports of plastic fragments mixed in with the chicken. The affected meals were produced on June 20th, July 11th, and July 17th, 2023, with best if used by dates of December 11th, 2024, January 1st, and January 7th, 2025. Lot codes included 509317120, 509319220, and 509399820. At least one customer reported oral injuries, confirmed by the USDA, after biting into a chicken strip that felt more like a plastic shard than food. What's worse, this wasn't an isolated mistake. It's another chapter in Banquet's long saga of food safety failures. The company's past makes the present recall even more unsettling. Back in 2007, Banquet's frozen pot pies were linked to a Salmonella enteritis outbreak that infected 401 people across 41 U.S. states, with 128 hospitalizations. For many Americans, that year marked the moment when Banquet's slogan, "Quality you can taste," started to sound like dark humor. Although Conagra cleaned up its public image in the following decade, this new incident proves that the ghosts of its factories still haunt the frozen aisle. The reality is that most consumers have no way of knowing whether a recalled batch was truly pulled from store shelves or quietly slipped back into circulation. Somewhere in the labyrinth of warehouses and distributor freezers, there may still be boxes of Banquet chicken waiting for someone's dinner plate and possibly their dentist's bill. And while plastic might sound less dramatic than metal shards, it's no small matter. A piece of plastic can slice gum tissue, scratch the throat, or lodge in the digestive tract. Over time, the microscopic fragments, what scientists now call microplastics, can accumulate in the body. That's the hidden tax of convenience food. You pay less at the register, but your health foots the long-term bill. Banquet's mistake shows how fragile the illusion of safe frozen food really is. Each glossy box in the supermarket freezer hides an invisible gamble, a roll of the dice between a decent meal and a hospital visit. Conagra's track record doesn't exactly inspire confidence either. The company has faced multiple federal investigations for sanitation lapses, labeling violations, and misleading advertising across its many brands, from Marie Callender's to Healthy Choice. The corporation's size allows it to bury bad news faster than most consumers can. Reddit. For working-class families or retirees living on a fixed income, the idea of cheap and easy meals sounds comforting, but the truth is chilling. You're not saving money if you're risking your health one forkful at a time. Safer alternatives and no repeats from earlier sections include Hill Country Fare, Genuine Organics Chicken, Organic Valley Free-Range Poultry, Prestige Chicken, US Canada, and Noble Purdy's Free-Range Chicken. These brands, while not flawless, have cleaner track records and fewer major recalls involving foreign contaminants. Choosing them isn't just about taste, it's about peace of mind. Because when you open your freezer and see that familiar Banquet box staring back at you, the real question isn't what's for dinner. It's what else is hiding inside that breaded promise. Before your next meal, Question every label, every promise, every brand. Subscribe now and uncover what's truly feeding America.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our daily content. Now feel free to check out some of the newest and best videos currently shown on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.